All right, so for my project, I'm going to be recording it on a Zoom. So let's hopefully see how this works. So this is my personal narrative and business plan for project number 3, and I'm Claire, pupping in California culture. So, for my personal narrative, I focused on the question, how has California shaped me? This actually reminded me of a question that I was asked in the ceramics class at my community college, which was, what is our culture? And at the time, the best thing I could come up with it was California culture. If someone needed to know a lot about me in the least amount of information, I would just say, think of a Southern Californian person, and that's a pretty good guess as to what you need to know about me. So for this project, like I said, I went, if you had to describe me using California Stereotypes Edition. So I have vocal fry, which you can probably hear on this recording, especially when I speak very relaxed. It gets very like that. I'm a liberal or leftist. I know there's differences in all the different words, but really I'm just not conservative. That's probably a better way to put it. I'm also an artist. I use the word like a lot. I love my dog like a human, and that's her in the upper right-hand corner. Her name's Pepper. I also have another dog named Lola, but she's the family dog, so this girlie is just mine. I really like Mexican food. You can see some rolled tacos I made in the bottom right corner. I like to go outdoors and do a lot of camping. This photo is from a class camping trip, actually. I was in a landmarks of art class where we were lucky enough to get to go on different camping trips and create art out in nature and do site-specific work. And so this is a photo from that trip. I live by or like the beach. I've been to LA, San Francisco, and Disneyland. I talk about traffic all the time, and I don't know where San Francisco or Sacramento is on the map. So where do some of these stereotypes that I talked about come from? Well, Democratic California. California has not always been a Democratic state. We've had governors of ranging political parties, but it does remain that way today, heavily based on its rich diversity and high population. When we look throughout the US, especially in cities where there's rich diversity and high population, those always tend to lead towards a more democratic political party. Mexican food and people liking Mexican food. Mexican culture in California is no mystery, as California's roots are in fact Mexican. So not only is Mexican food very popular, but so is Mexican and Chicanx culture, which is a Mexican American culture, excuse me. Just drive around for a bit and you'll find that many street names and cities have Spanish names, like San Diego, Los Angeles, which is like Los Angelitos. Um, I believe it came from that phrase. Where do these stereotypes come from 2.0? So, traffic. Why do Californians always talk about the traffic and which way we plan on driving? See the Californians skits on SNL, and they'll show you a good example of that. Well, there isn't very much public transportation in California, especially in comparison to Europe, where we see similar spaces being traveled across, and yet we rely on highways and cars, and they rely on public transportation. So we spend a lot of time driving in traffic, and therefore a lot of time talking about it. Outdoors and camping. Since California is a pretty nice size, it also is home to many national parks and lots of camping spots throughout the state. It's one of the state's biggest tourist attractions, especially in SoCal, where the weather is so good that going outdoors and enjoying the sun is a big part of the culture. Just look at every single person's Tinder profile, and it will seem like everyone enjoys hiking. Where is there need in California? So this was the question I really thought about when I was trying to think of a business proposal. And I thought a need is affordable and sustainable housing throughout all of California, but specifically in my hometown, Encinitas, which is where I'm focusing my business proposal on. What we have here is a lot of $1 million beach homes, especially more in the past couple years. People are being pushed out of their homes and towns. And as you may know, this is gentrification. So an example, there's neighborhoods in my bubble of a beach town that have $1 million homes next to apartment buildings. And in these apartment buildings, there's plumbing that goes into the yard where kids are expected to play. Um, that just doesn't seem right. And when places like that do get upgraded, it's not upgraded for the people who live there. Instead, those people are forced to leave and new, richer people move in. So my business proposal from a non-business student POV, I tried my best here. The plan, as I said before, affordable and sustainable housing with an emphasis on community and group living. Essentially apartment complexes, but better, with the idea being that we want people to stay there for a long time, where this is a home environment, not a temporary living environment. And so the budget, be really rich so I can just pay for it? No, that doesn't work. Community funding, make friends with a financial guru, use taxes. In all seriousness, something like this is going to cost thousands of dollars, and it's going to need a lot of help from the community. I would definitely need, moving forward, to make a group of people with different skills that could help me plan for all of that kind of stuff. The more fun details would be, I would want to incorporate living roofs, which we learned about earlier in the semester, both to incorporate native plants, but also as a natural heating and cooling system for the buildings. Community gardens, I would want to team up with places like Farm Lab. So Farm Lab is an organization here in my town. They're an organic farm, and they do both, people can sort of put in orders and pick up their vegetables on their way home from work, but they also have classrooms where they teach kids, and they have camps about how to farm and all the cool stuff about it. And so I think it'd be really cool to team up with places like them and have them start our farm for us. I'd also want 2 dog runs, a communal one and a private one. This, I know because it's a need of mine. I have a reactive dog who does like to play, but not with everybody. And so communal dog parks where everyone's allowed and it's usually pretty crowded are not good places for those dogs. So I would want 2 dog runs, one that's a traditional dog park, and then one where you just have to sign up on the sheet for a certain amount of time, like let's say 30 minutes at a time, and you can bring a friend, of course, can get to go play and know their dogs are allowed in at that time. There'd also be a pool, jacuzzi, and a park. I would want the community living to be very kid friendly, and so I think having these things allows them to have lots of spaces to play. And adults like it too. I mean, come on. And this is my mock-up drawing. So I have one building. Obviously, you'd have a lot more than just one building, um, with balconies. Everyone's sort of close together, so you can get to know your neighbors. But we do have living roofs, excuse me. And on the top is pollinator and native plants to help, like the bees and the butterflies and everything. Then on the left, you have the community and vegetable and herb garden, 1 box per living space. This is actually something that in my grandma's apartment complex they do. They have 1 garden box reserved for you automatically. And if you don't want to use it, you don't have to, but there's that space for you. Then of course in the middle we have a pool and jacuzzi, because why not? And a playground for the kids, and then we have the 2 dog parks, both communal and sign up only. And so that's my idea for affordable and sustainable housing, the sustainability coming from incorporating a lot of natural elements to it, and hopefully having people stick around for a long time. So that is my proposal and my personal narrative. Thank you very much.